What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Flying solo as of the moment. We are live on YouTube, X, Facebook, and Rumble. I see the chat's already filling up. Jacob may be joining us shortly. We'll see if that works out or not. I'm going to have to pace myself. We'll talk about it in a minute, but really excited to dive into all the family night festivities. Looked like it was an absolute blast up there for those who did attend. Hopefully you made it home safe. Seemed like it was a really cool atmosphere, cool environment. So here's what we're going to cover tonight. We're going to do a full family night recap. All right. We're going to talk about how the defense seemed to dominate. At least that's most of the headlines that I had read. We'll dive into Jordan Love's day and kind of give you some specific statistics there to the best of my knowledge. And as always, we'll have the chat kind of sort through that and see if we've got anything incorrect, kind of fact check us on the fly. We'll have injury updates, who participated, who didn't. We'll talk about how the lineup notes changed a bit. We'll talk about the full practice highlights, like individual plays. Hey, this happened, that happened, this happened, give you a full breakdown there. And then we're going to do an Omar Brown deep dive, as obviously he stole the show last night. So we got all that on tap. We're going to do a giveaway, giving away the autographed Luke Musgrave card as well. So if this is your first time here, need y'all to do that YouTube stuff for me. If you're just here in general, do that YouTube stuff for me. Hit that like, hit subscribe. If it is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. We appreciate you making us a part of your evening. Listen, we're not experts here. We're not insiders. We're not media members. What we are fans just like you in here talking Packers on the daily. We usually got a full house, anywhere from 3 to 4 guys in here just talking ball, sometimes ladies. And, we break down everything, pregame shows, postgame shows. We'll do, film breakdown. We'll do in-depth look at PFF grades and how the analytics are stacking up for the Packers throughout the season. So we got you covered on the daily. Just hit that subscribe button. If you like daily Packers content, make sure you click that bell icon so you get notified every time we do go live. And again, appreciate everybody jumping in the chat, man. It looks like it is a full house in here. Love what Chris N says. Let me see if I can find that. It's worth slowing down the progress here for just a second. As Chris the Casual says,
Belt to ass, BTA.
That's right. It's built to ask. PTA is actually what he said. Which we're going to pretend like he did, right? So good to see everybody. Thank you all so much. Let's dive into it, guys. We got a lot to cover. All right. Family night takeaways. You guys know how I like to approach this. I go through and read everybody's article. I like to look at, Bill Huber's stuff. I love Paul Brettle's stuff. Jason Wilde does an excellent job, kind of give you a little bit deeper dive into the story behind the game typically. So what I like to do is throw into the database a bunch of different people that I trust that's reporting on the team, and then let it spit out. Here's the recap. The reason I do that, it removes my personal opinion. I'll give my opinion on what spits out of this thing, right? But I don't like to try to bend the narrative. Well, here's what Clayton thinks, therefore that's what happened. I like to try to get multiple takes and then give you my opinion as we go along, if that makes sense. So let's just dive into it. It sounds like the defense performed better than the offense last night. Let's look into everything here. And if you're going Clayton, did you not watch it? I got up and watched the highlights today. Obviously, I was at Bristol Motor Speedway yesterday. Man, did it rain? It rained. We were at the Speedway probably 5-6 hours, and it got rain delayed a couple of different times. And I'm just telling you right now, you get a bunch of people. I think there said 8 or 9 different countries was represented. We broke the regular season Major League Baseball attendance record. I think it capped out at 91,000 is what we hit at. You get a rainstorm roll through and you think, all right, everybody seek shelter. No, it's just, not everybody. The guys' shirts came off. It just turned into basically a redneck version of Woodstock, and it was just all day festivities. So I ain't going to lie, man. I wanted to do an early stream today, about 12, 1 o'clock. I wanted to dive into that and kind of, hey, let's do the Omar Brown breakdown first, and then we'll hit, all the updates. I couldn't do it. I needed time to recover. So, again, I apologize. But here we go. Defensive performance summary. All right. Defense dominated, described as, quote, animate, and adamant by the article. I think that might have been Bill Huber's article that he referred to that by. Safety Xavier McKinney noted the team played great, focused on details, played fast, and ran to the ball, though they could improve on turnovers. Obviously, that's Xavier McKinney. There's always something to work on, right? And you could tell that Jeff Hafley's approach with this defense, it has been since day one, is see ball, get ball. Go take the ball away. Go attack the football. And it really does line up perfectly with what Matt LaFleur has said ever since he got to Green Bay, which is you win the ball, you win the game, right? And that's what we're talking about, controlling the possession. Make sure you protect the football when you got it, which we did a pretty piss poor job of last year and still had a decent season, right? If you can improve on the offensive side of the ball, protecting the football and continue to take it away. And they're not resting on their laurels, right? You can tell that they're truly going to attack the football from a punch out standpoint this year. And I'm sure they've still got focus on trying to intercept the passes as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun, but I love it. Xavier McKinney setting the tone. Hey, look, it's never good enough, right? Offense scored only one touchdown all night. It was the final play. Taylor Elgersma, 23-yard touchdown pass to Will Shepherd. So we got a Will Shepherd sighting there. Interceptions, Omar Brown with 3, Carrington Valentine with 1, Kalen King with 1. We've actually got that Kalen King interception, I believe, and I'm going to try to stay on topic. And this is where I usually ask the guys to say something smart, but I think it's right here. Nope, not that one. Let me get it on. Let me get geared up here. I think it was Wes Hodkiewicz had this tweet. So this was the Kalen King interception, I believe. And again, I apologize if the picture isn't clear enough. But the way he jumps this route, man, watch Kalen King here. A little RPR probably there. Look at Kalen King jump the route. Hopefully that's not too choppy for you guys. It's actually choppy on my end, which means it's probably blurring out as he was recording it. But shout out to Wes Hodkiewicz for getting us that footage. And Kalen King, guys, is that not what we want to see from Kalen King? You know, we talked about how he was a prospect that was highly touted the year before he came out for the draft. And for whatever reason, you know, his draft stock sank pretty much out of sight his final year in college, where he was projected to be a first-round pick at the end of his next to last season in college. So you like to see this. You see the ball skills there, the ball hawking ability. He just kind of reads, reacts, dive bombs on the ball, and a nice little return there at the end as well. And I want to say this about Malik here. This is just, you're getting to that read way too late. You know, and Jordan's been as guilty of that as anyone in the past, right? Not to pile on too hard, but we talked about it all year last year. It was all over the tape, even though I feel like Jordan had a good year last year. Hearing some people, you would think that he was the worst quarterback in the league, but getting to that read way too late. You cannot throw that pass. Well, I mean, when he puts his eyes on that receiver, he doesn't even know if he's open. You know, now if you read the defense out correctly, you would think, all right, yeah, he's going to be open, or nope, he ain't open, depending on what the safety does, what the corner does, the splits, the depth, all that. But yeah, you got to get to that read way earlier, or just throw the ball away. But nonetheless, Kalen King, that's what we're wanting to see out of him, obviously. So really, really excited to see if he continues to take a step forward as the season moves along here. So again, keep your eye on Kalen King in that regard. All right, up next. So again, 5 interceptions on the night, it looks like here, according to the article breakdown. Coach Matt LaFleur treated it like a preseason game with, quote, vanilla schemes, not concerned about offensive struggles, emphasizing competition and making plays. And here's the thing, when you hear the term vanilla, and I know everybody in the chat knows this, in case someone doesn't, you know, if you're new here or you haven't watched a whole lot of football and you're wanting to dive into it a little bit different level, when you hear the term vanilla, what it means is you're just showing the same type of stuff over and over and over again. Very basic defense. You know, sometimes they'll play a vanilla 2-man under, right? Well, how do you get a team out of 2-man under, which is basically man coverage with 2 safeties up top? You run the ball down their damn throat, right? Well, they're not just going to, okay, Jeff Hafley's in 2-man under again. Let's run the rock every single play. They're going to try to work on stuff. They're going to try to push the envelope a little bit. It seemed like Jordan Love threw the ball down the field quite a bit more. And when a defense plays vanilla, the way you beat a vanilla defense is you run the rock and you take what they give you underneath, right? Rather than just throwing into coverage. So that's what I think Matt LaFleur means by, hey, look, we're not concerned about this. We're showing vanilla looks. And the reason you're showing vanilla looks is you do not want opponents to pick up on what you're doing, right? And that's absolutely huge. So, but anyway, that's just kind of a quick overview. The defense seemed to dominate, so to speak, with family night. Now, let's move it along to Jordan Love's day. Okay. Completed 17 of 25 passes. Number one offense did not score a touchdown, right? So you'd see that and go, oh, no, offense is in trouble. Trust me, guys. Playing a vanilla defense, a very safe defense, and you not wanting to put a whole lot out on tape, family night is about, it's exactly what it sounds like. Look at the kids in this picture, right? You got the kids, the family. This kid right here cracks me up. He looks like he hit the jackpot. I don't know if those are posters or what, but he's like, let me just get out of here with this extra memorabilia. But you see the kids all around, the family and everything, right? Listen, family night is about, let's get the players out on the field and let our fans come into the stadium, which what a great turnout. Was it like over 50,000 people or something crazy? I believe was the number. If anybody knows the exact number, throw it in the chat for everybody. But it's just, hey, let's get the guys out there on the grass. Let's throw the ball around. Let's kick some field goals. Let's do a few Lambeau leaps after we throw some net shots. This isn't about, hey, let's go out there and show them how dominant we are, right? And it's about, having the players come out with their family. You've seen Tucker Kraft with his newborn, right? And all that. It's just kind of, hey, it's just a celebration. It's like a family reunion. Let's kick the football season off. So don't read too much into these numbers, right? And Chris Casuan, thank you, buddy. He says 59,000. Heck, yes, plus. Looks like plus. Yeah, Ed Madden got the number too. Thank y'all so much. So again, 17-25, number one offense, didn't score a touchdown. He started 5 of 5, including a 3rd and 6 conversion to tight end Luke Musgrave. In a goal line period, needing 2 first downs, he completed 3 of 4 passes with 2 to Musgrave for the first down. So, obviously Tucker Kraft he sat out this practice. I think he tweaked a groin. We'll get to the injury report here in a little bit. But Musgrave, that's what you're wanting to see, right? And you guys correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but it sounds like Musgrave is having a pretty darn good camp. And I don't feel like that was the case last year or even the year before. I'm trying to think how many. Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, so he's been in the league for 2 full years now. To me, it feels like he's kind of taking a step. Now, again, it's camp. It's mostly running routes in your underwear with no contact, right? We just talked about, this is a family reunion out there for the football team. So, but still, Luke Musgrave, what I want to see here in the preseason, if he plays, however little bit he does play in the preseason, I want him to show that he's healthy. And I want him to I just want him to seem more, not necessarily productive, just more confident, because to me, he seems like he's been a player in the past that's somewhat played. I don't want to say skittish, because my God, the guy finished a game with internal bleeding, right? When he had a lacerated kidney or something crazy. So it's not like he's not tough, but it just seems like he plays trying not to make a mistake, as opposed to just using that freakish athletic ability that he has and just going out there and playing the way that you have your whole life. But I'm excited to see what Luke Musgrave does the remainder of camp here. So in a goal line period, needing 2 first downs, they completed the 3 or 4 passes, 2 to Musgrave for the first downs, like we said. Now, in the 2-minute drill, starting at the 25-yard line with 2 minutes left and 1 timeout, completion to Musgrave. There he is again. Then a deep pass to Matthew Golden was intercepted by Carrington Valentine. I think we've got that video we will show here in just a little bit. All right, we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, we'll come back to that. But nonetheless, it ended up being intercepted by Carrington Valentine. Again, Carrington having a pretty darn good camp too. We talked about the interceptions there earlier. He's got multiple. I think he's just second behind Omar Brown now, I believe, in terms of interceptions, or maybe Omar Brown is just behind him, but having a really, really good camp so far. Mulligan series against backups. All right. Starting at the 35 with 134 left. Completions to Golden for 10 yards. Malik Heath got 6 yards on a 3rd and 7. Then Heath, 9 yards for the first down. Romeo Dobbs, 18 yards. Then an 8-yard pass to Matthew Golden, setting up a 29-yard field goal by Brandon McManus. You're seeing Golden's name continuously pop up, right? Really, really excited about that. The play of the day, matter of fact, let's do this. Since it's the scramble play, let's go ahead and show the scramble play, and then we'll get to the Lambeau leap. So many people have been talking about this scramble play by Jordan Love, right? And let's just take a look at it ourselves. Shout out to Matt Schneidman, who got us the video here and posted it on X. I want to make sure we're giving credit for everybody who's got these videos. So let's see Jordan Love move here. Remember the injury last year, and hopefully this isn't too choppy. Let's watch him here. He drops back, quick set, up, out the pocket. That's what you want to see Jordan doing right there, right? That, to me, Jordan looks healthy, gang, and that's really, really exciting, because that's an aspect of his game last year that we just didn't have. And in 2023, not only is it nice to see him get the rushing touchdowns and see him pick up the first downs on the ground and all those things, but also some of those late season games where he just absolutely dominated. If you guys remember, he was, I mean, the last 8-9 games of the season, he was the best quarterback in the entire National Football League. If that was over a 3-week span, I'd just go, guys, 3 weeks. If it was 5 weeks, I may be a little more hesitant. You're talking about 8 or 9 games. It's huge. But why did he have so much success? Yes, it was throwing the football, but when you go through the first half of the season putting this type of stuff on tape where, hey, look, I can beat you with my legs. If you do this, I'm going to do that, and find the soft spot in the defense. Now, all of a sudden, what happens? The passing game opens up, and you don't necessarily scramble to get big run plays like this. You scramble to create secondary throwing windows so you can get the big chunk plays down the field. So I'm excited. You guys correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like Jordan Love, he looks as quick as he did in 2023. It doesn't seem like the injuries, are having any problems whatsoever with him being mobile in the pocket. We've seen his footwork all camp. We've shown footage of that at training camp over there at Ray Nitschke Field. But yeah, this looks good to me, man. Yeah, he has good legs this year. Greg Rice says, completely agree, man. Completely agree. So there was the scramble play that folks were talking about, right? And then we got, I thought this was cool too. And listen, I understand the net drills. Listen, when you hit them, it's not like it's, wow, can you believe he hit that? And also, it's not, when he misses them, I don't look at it like, oh crap, we're in trouble, right? I just don't see it that way personally. But let's roll the tape here, and you'll see it's the net. And love that all the QBs said, let's go get us a Lambeau leap here. This is what Family Night's about, man. And I got to be honest, man, it's nice to see Jordan be able to get up on that wall. That's not an easy jump. If you've ever stayed, Malik Willis a little short. He said, I don't know if I should do this or not. But look at the camaraderie in the quarterback room, man. How cool is this, guys? And again, this was the Packers that tweeted this video out. How cool is this right here? This is what you want to see in preseason, right? This is what you want to see at Family Night. You want to see the guys having a good time, putting on a show for the fans, and just building that camaraderie, right? Because the reality is that camaraderie, I know some fans roll their eyes, I want stats, I want sacks, I want touchdowns. Guys, when you're getting your ass kicked and you're bloodied and it's the fourth quarter and you're down by a couple scores and you got to find the guts, you got to find the strength, you got to find the stamina to go back and steal a win, still turn a loss into a win, steal a victory away from the opponent. It's stuff like this that makes you look, to your left and your right and go, man, I'm going to go out here and perform for this dude next to me. It's cool to see this quarterback room so close like this. And to me, it's a testament to Jordan Love's leadership. The same way that I feel like Aaron passed that on to him. Obviously, it was a little bit different story with Brett to Aaron. That was a whole saga that we don't want to go down. But, Aaron took Jordan under his wing. That's Jordan's words, not mine. He treated him so good. And now you see Jordan doing the same thing with the Malik Willis, with the Taylor Elgersma, with the Sean Clifford. It's just, I don't know, man. This stuff right here is what matters to me. So, Chris pointing out, wow, Caleb Williams throwing a hissy fit. Yeah, if you guys didn't see that video, go check it out. I actually retweeted it out, and then Ryan over there at Pack_Daddy tweeted several videos out too. Caleb Williams, boy, oh boy, missing the net 4 straight throws and then throwing a little temper tantrum on the practice field. It's just, that's the stuff. That's the stuff I would be worried about, guys. If Jordan Love had his head down and was all, ticked off because he missed a net in training camp or at a family night, I would be concerned then. I'd be like, hold up, man, his head don't seem like it's in the right space. You just constantly see that from Caleb, and people will defend him and go, oh, no, it ain't a big deal. You're blowing out of proportion. Guys, it's happened everywhere he's gone. Like you've seen in USC when they lost that final game of the season there, rather than go, hey, I need to go pick my teammates up, he literally goes into the stands, climbs into his mama's arms, and cries. And they had to cover his face up so the camera didn't see him crying. You know what I mean? Like how many times we showed you guys over the course of his rookie season last year where things wouldn't go his way, and this is what you seen on the sideline. Or the famous shot of him laying flat on his back and his teammates like trying to help him up. And he's like, you could just tell us, no, let me lay here for a minute. I want everyone to see that I am visibly upset, over emotional. He's got all the talent in the world, but it doesn't matter when Bears still suck. You know what I'm saying? So listen, he could put it together in all honesty, but you got to fix that attitude thing. And this is what you're looking for. Jordan Love is never too high, never too low. I've got a lot of faith in what QB1 is going to do this year for sure. So Really excited about that. Let's get back to the Jordan Love breakdown here. Make sure we didn't miss anything. We talked about the 29-yard field goal. Got it. All right. Not a specific play from Saturday, but highlighted his scramble over 15 yards. We talked about that. Yeah, that video we already showed you context. Love ranks 23rd among quarterbacks with 75 rushes in 2 starting seasons, encouraged to run more due to the athleticism. So the coaches are even telling him, hey, Jay Love, let's get out there and scramble a little bit more. Offensive coordinator Adam Stenovich answered that question with absolutely. Love should run more, as it's a huge weapon for easy yards with low risk via sliding, meaning if you get your butt down on the ground, there's no risk whatsoever, right? If you try to extend a play, make something happen, you may throw late across the middle and throw an interception, right? If the point is, if it's a second and 10 play, you drop back the pass, you get to your third read, nobody's open, and you see 6 yards open, down the field, pick up that 6 and let's play to 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 8, whatever it is, right? 3rd and 4. That's manageable. But you just didn't see that much last year because I think he was playing on a flat tire. He was playing with some injuries. So I'm excited to see him getting back to that. All right, so there is the Jordan Love breakdown. Now, let's move it along. And listen, I'm going to briefly mention this because we're going to come back to Omar Brown at the end of the show. I'm really excited about diving into that. But the player of the day was Omar Brown. Full breakdown on him coming up. We'll do a separate segment there. Just wanted to mention it really quick. Now, injury updates. Let's get to the injury updates. And the reason I picked this picture, you see Tucker right here. He's in street clothes. And that's what I was talking about. He and his wife, I believe they're married, and their little one, their newborn. And this was really cool to see the family, the players bring their families out, right? I love watching these type of videos for family night. I know Jacob was big tough guy, right? I could tell he gets a little bit emotional with stuff like this, man. It matters. Again, this is about building that team camaraderie. And you see all the names that when I see those jersey numbers, I see those names, I see, all the different players. I don't just see different people. I see different backgrounds. I see different, some people were raised dirt poor. Others might have had, had it a little bit easier. And you got this just melting pot of players, of people coming together and trying to accomplish, one common goal. It's just huge. So with the injury report, new injuries, it says Xavier Williams was unknown. I want to say he was out there for a bit. You guys correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I've read multiple reports, and they seemed a little bit conflicting, but I could have just been a little blurry from last night. But Xavier Williams, I thought he practiced to a certain extent. And then, of course, it says it was a new injury listed. So maybe he did get a little banged up or tweaked something out there. Now, tight end Tucker Kraft, that was a new injury going in. He has tweaked his groin. So I don't think there's anything to worry about there. Thank you so much. Coach Lynn said Savion was out there. So appreciate that, Coach. So there must have been something. Yeah, had practice catches, says Greg Rice. I think he had some catches. And I want to say in the report, it might have been Bill Huber that reported it, that he might have left a little later. Or maybe that's part of the whole concussion thing too. Hey, let's keep him out of certain things. Who knows? But nonetheless, those are the two mentioned. I think Tucker's going to be fine. We are noticing, though, am I the only one that's noticing that groins are starting to pop up a little bit this year? Like that injury just seems like it's a little heavy this year. So I guarantee you, if a dumb redneck like me is noticing, wow, we got like 4 or 5 different people with groin injuries so far in camp, the coaching staff is relaying to the medical staff, like, hey, let's try to get to the bottom of this. Let's try to get this fixed, right? It reminds you of the hammies for so many years. And then for whatever reason last year, everybody tore their pec, right? There was like 3 different, the head coach, Tucker Kraft, Zach Tom, everybody tore their pec bench pressing, right? So, yeah, there you go, Chris. I completely agree. It says 2025 groins or the 2024 hamstrings. So true, man. So true. So there you go. Coach Lynn confirms Savion Williams is on a pitch count. That makes a lot of sense. Greg Rice says, no, Savion did scrimmage. He had one where Love threw to him for like 20 yards. So he was out there. That's the whole point there, right? So I don't think there's a whole lot to worry about. Now, the old injuries, Christian Watson with the knee, Dontavion Wicks with the calf, so he wasn't out there. Wide receiver Sam Brown with an ankle, cornerback Nate Hobbs with the knee, running back Emmanuel Wilson with the knee injury, running back Marshawn Lloyd with the groin. There's a groin. Cornerback Kamal Haddon with the hip, linebacker Colin Oliver with a hamstring, defensive end Aaron Mosby with the groin, left tackle Rasheed Walker with the groin, offensive lineman John Williams with the back, and then guard/tackle Mr. Emilio Travis Glover with the shoulder. So returning from injuries. We didn't get anybody back that we did not see practice earlier in the week. So nothing changed there on that front, but I think that's by design. Hey, let's try to get everybody healthy and get geared up for this next week of work in training camp. I think it's going to be huge. Now, details. Kraft missed all the practice, dealing with the groin for a few days, rested to calm it down. So nothing, I think we're good there. Williams missed the final periods, missed earlier camp with concussion, no further info. So there you go. That sounds like, I think that was Bill Huber, I believe, his portion of an article that it grabbed here and mentioned that. So there you go. There's just a quick little injury update on, it seems like they're playing it a little bit safe. And again, it was a glorified practice is what it was last night. Nonetheless, it's just fun to see the guys get out there in the green and gold and out there on Lambeau Field for sure. King Tron with the super chat. Thank you so much, Tron. Appreciate you, buddy. He says, delayed $5 for 5K. Can't express how much I appreciate y'all and the amazing Packers environment you foster. I truly wish y'all the moon and appreciate you. Hey, Tron, thank you so much, buddy. Listen, and it's not just because you sent a super chat. Thank you for the kind words. Although we appreciate that support as well. It's been fun, man. I wasn't even going to bring this up, but had a little bit of an interaction on X yesterday with Jen Latta of ESPN Milwaukee. Now, listen, I want to be 100% transparent. If you guys see my tweet, and I told her this, we exchanged some messages back and forth. That wasn't a shot at her. She's doing her job, right? And if you guys don't even know what I'm talking about, I won't go too in depth, but it's just I pointed out how ESPN Wisconsin, really in general, not just ESPN Milwaukee, is just so negative. It just seems like everything's negative. And I just listed it out. And, I will tell you this. Jen Latta is an absolute professional. Notice I didn't mention anything she did in those tweets, right? And now she's covering the Brett Favre fallout with the Packers right before training camp. Well, I'm sure that wasn't something that she said, I want to cover this. It's probably a project put together for her. But nonetheless, I'll just say this about Jen. She stand up and she appreciates the feedback. I'll leave it at that. And I love that when someone's willing to go, all right, man, we'll look into this. No problem. I'll do my best to look into it. So I probably got a little hot-headed, but, man, when I seen that come across, I'm like, what bothered me, and again, this isn't a shot at her. It's training camp. It's literally on the eve of family night. Optimism is at an all-time high for us Packer fans. We're so fired up for the season. And then when you tune in to a specific station, and listen, it's actually multiple channels, both Milwaukee and Madison, and predominantly you just hear negative. It's like, and then it's, hey, look, here is the most divisive, how do I say it? The most divisive event, I believe, in Packers history, to be honest with you. Like the Brett Favre fallout and how it embarrassed me as a Packer fan to see how some Packer fans turned on the organization over one player. Whether you think Brett was wrong or not, you're right to that opinion. But it's just, you know what it reminds me of? I'll be honest with you. It reminds me of the Civil War, right? I'm a big history nerd, but I don't like to dive into the Civil War because it's just like it was family harming family. It was a nation divided. Like, why don't we focus on what we've got in common and let's work through our differences and make, come out the other side, making things better, right? That's a very, very extreme comparison. Don't get me wrong, but that whole Brett Favre thing, it just split the fan base, right? Or at least took a third of the fan base away. And when you hear people bragging on the radio about, well, they supported Brett Favre and the Jets when that happened, and then you got another guy who's a host of a show in Milwaukee, ESPN Milwaukee, showing up the Packers training camp and putting Matt LaFleur in an awkward place and trying to get him to sign an Aaron Rodgers Jets jersey and walking through the stands of the practice field and just to try to get a ruse out of the fans wearing an Aaron Rodgers Jets jersey. And we got to listen to you on the radio every damn day. Like, at some point, we as fans need to step up and go, look, dude, we're not doing this. Like, it's obvious what you guys are doing. On another show earlier, they said Brian Gutekunst is not serious about winning a Super Bowl because he's not bringing Jair Alexander back. Listen, I wanted Ja back for $6 million. I think it would be a good decision. Now, he didn't go that route, But why would you go on the radio waves and this guy, Brian Gutekunst, who could potentially lose his job in a year or two with Ed Policy taking over now, right? Why would he? What you're saying is he doesn't care about his job. He doesn't want to win. He's just going to do things the way he wants to do. Now, if you say you disagree with how he thinks he can get there, that's a totally different ball game, right? But anyway, I didn't expect to talk about it. I actually told the guys, hey, if you're on the show or not, let's don't mention the whole ESPN Milwaukee thing because people don't want to hear that stuff, right? We want to hear updates on the team, but here I am. I screwed this one up. But again, I just want to, the one that sent me over the edge was when the producer called Romeo Dobbs a coward. That's when I was like, okay, man, I can't. Like, you know darn well you wouldn't say it to Romeo Dobbs' face, a dude who grew up really, really rough in a rough part of California, and he's probably seen the worst of the worst, and he's got this opportunity where he's trying to make the best of it, and then you're sitting behind a microphone, out of shape, breathing heavy into the microphone because you probably couldn't walk a mile, much less run one, right? And you're going to say that Romeo Dobbs is a coward. Like that sent me over the edge. I'm like, my God. And then bending stats and trying to tweak things just right to make the pass rush sound worse than it is. And then when you present the facts, present the statistics, present how the defense took a huge step forward, and then you try to take that and it turns into, well, if you remove their best 3 or 4 games, they actually were bad. It's just get away from me, man. Again, why are we talking about it? You do know that your listeners are Packer fans, right? Who wants to listen to that? That'd be like, you love your family, right? We all love the Packers, right? We love our family. What Vince Lombardi say? God, family, and the Green Bay Packers, right? We all love our family here. Some people are going, I don't know, man, I got a weird uncle. I don't love my family. But we love our family. That would literally be like, man, I want to walk down memory lane and remember, what it was like with my, how great my family is and our most fondest moments, right? Spending time together. And somebody comes in and goes, yeah, I'll put that together for you. Let me show you every bad situation that you experience with your family. How does that make sense? Why do they think Packer fans want to listen to that? And again, if it was 1 thing, 2 things, even 3 things, I was turning my head back then. When it got to the point where I listed off like 6 or 7 things that's happened recently, I'm like, y'all are like, it's obvious what you're trying to do here. And you got other hosts that they say it 3 times a day on their show. I'm not a Packer fan. I just cover the Packer. Okay, that's great. You don't have to keep saying that. Every time you say I'm not a Packer fan, it's like you're backhanding the Packer fans. Who are your audience? I just don't get it. So anyway, I'm always going to approach covering the Packers like I want to focus on the positive as much as possible because there's way more positive than negative. Now, listen, when something happens, you got what happened, why did it happen? That's our motto, especially after in post-game shows and film breakdown. If the team loses, we're going to show you why they lost. And we're not going to harp on it and call for people's jobs and say that guy's a bum and a coward or whatever. It's just silly. But that's how we're always going to approach it, is to try to put a little bit positive spin on it, like because people don't want to be depressed. Like when I tune into sports talk, I try to do everything on the show how I want sports talk that I listen to be. And when I tune into a show, I don't pop the earbuds in on the ground at work and go, all right, let's get depressed and let's focus on every negative thing about this team. It just doesn't make sense. So anyway, end of rant. Let's move on to practice highlights. So there's a lot here. I love it when it breaks it down, when AI will grab stuff and just break it down into individual plays, right? And kind of give you, all right, here's a specific look at what happens. So here are the practice highlights. One-on-ones highlight was Malik Willis' long touchdown pass to Malik Heath, who overpowered cornerback Micah Robinson. And we got a video there. I believe I've got it queued up here. So let's go to this real quick. We're going to talk a little bit about Malik Heath because you guys know I've been much higher on him than I think most people have, right? And this play here, I think this is it, actually. Let's mute that. So this is the play to Malik Heath. Oh, did it? Nope, it took me to the website. Hold on just a second here. Let's see if we can get this thing to trigger up. All right, here we go. So you see Malik Heath, no pass rush. Listen, this is just a one-on-one right here. But look at Malik Heath here. Watch the hands. Look at the strong hands, guys. And listen, Micah Robinson, to me, that ain't a huge negative mark there. It's definitely not a positive, but Micah Robinson plays this pretty darn good. I mean, look, he's all over the coverage, right? He's fighting through the hands, but this is what Malik Heath does. This is why I said going into training camp that I would keep Malik Heath over Bo Melton. And I love Bo Melton. Bo Melton is a team guy, special teams contributor, huge special teams contributor, faster 40 time than Christian Watson. He's got a lot to work with there. But Malik Heath, it just seems like he always makes the most out of his opportunities, and he doesn't have that many opportunities. But is this catch, am I wrong in the chat here, guys? This catch right here is just like, this is phenomenal. This is, you can tell, I mean, look at him holding the ball too. Like his hands look huge. He just seems like he's really coming into his own here. That's a hell of a catch out there. Heck of a catch, man. So Malik Heath, I wanted to show that highlight, and let's get back to the article because I want to point out what I've been talking about. When you look at the statistics from last year with Malik Heath, here on this image here, if you guys can see it, hopefully you can see it good enough. Notice the catch rate over expected, okay? And we've explained what catch rate over expected is. Listen, you guys can go look up the actual definition. It's essentially, these are the guys, it takes into account the situation they're put in as opposed to just blanket statistics, right? His catch rate over expected was plus 9.7%. Next is Christian Watson at a plus 5.2%. Then Romeo Doubs plus 2.9%. Jaden Reed, 1.2%. Bo Melton was a negative 6.9%. And there you see Dontavion Wicks. We talk about how he struggled last year. His catch percentage was a 51.3%. His catch rate over expected, a minus 12.4%. But go back to Malik Heath for a second. Look at his catch percentage. He led the entire receiving room in catch percentage at 76.9%, okay? And his catch rate over expected at a 9.7% in the positive. Now, his yards per reception, nowhere near Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, Bo Melton, he was closer to Bo Melton and Dontavion Wicks, obviously at a 9.7 there. They were at 11.4, 10.6. Christian Watson was second in the entire National Football League at 21.4 yards per reception. I think Alec Pierce he led the league in that, with the Indianapolis Colts. So the yards per reception, what that tells me is notice how it's, it's much lower. That's kind of a boundary X guy. And what did you see just now in that catch? That's what you want a boundary X guy to do. You want him to be able to play in a phone booth. And what that means is whether it's creating slight separation and making a contested catch underneath, or in a phone booth down the sideline when you have to hit, when they're in a two-man under and you want to try to throw what would be a hole shot in a cover two zone defense, but it's two-man under, you want a guy who can play that ball in tight coverage. Malik Heath, to me, should make this roster. And not only should he make the roster, he should be given more opportunities. Now, I say that and look at the names in the room. Now, Christian Watson starting on the pup. Do I think Malik Heath should get more targets than Romeo Doubs? Absolutely not. Jaden Reed? Absolutely not. Bo Melton? Yes. Of course, Bo Melton's probably going to just play corner now. Dontavion Wicks? It's tough for me to say this because Dontavion Wicks is really good at creating separation. But, Malik Heath only got 13 targets, right? Dontavion Wicks got 76 targets. Imagine if we had taken 20 of those targets and gave it to Malik Heath and got him up to 33. Don't you think with the catch rate over expected, if he continued at that rate or even dropped slightly and put him on par with a Christian Watson or a Romeo Doubs still in the positive, think of how much more productive the offense would have been as opposed to Dontavion Wicks. Now, Wicks is having a good camp other than the calf injury, obviously. And we talk about you can't make the club in the tub. Listen, there's no chance that Dontavion Wicks does not make this roster, right? I'm not saying that at all. But this is what we mean by can't make the club in the tub. Malik Heath getting that extra look last night, and you see him once again, him showcasing those skills. Now, with that being said, maybe Malik Heath, where this receiver room's kind of loaded, maybe he's a trade candidate. I'm simply saying if it were me, I want that physicality. I want that blocking ability. I want that being able to play in a phone booth, the strong hands, the catch rate over expected to be utilized for the Packers this year. That's just me personally. So, again, Malik Heath, I think, is one to watch here in preseason. And guys, we got preseason football coming up. Let me pull up the calendar real quick. Preseason football. So it's next Saturday, 7 p.m. Man, it's going to be exciting. I cannot wait, dude. It's going to be I can't wait to get on here the next day and just break down all of the details of what happened there in that. So let's move it along here. 11-on-11 start. So defense strong, right? You got Defensive tackle Kenny Clark stopped Josh Jacobs near the line of scrimmage. All right. Linebacker Edgerrin Cooper stopped the end around by Matthew Golden for a loss, and Clark stopped Jacobs again. Kenny Clark showed up family night, boys and girls. And again, I've been as hard on Kenny Clark as anyone on this particular show, probably of anyone who covers the Packers, to be honest with you. I didn't like us giving him that contract extension a couple years ago personally. Last year, if you just looked at the stat column, you go, boy, Kenny played horrible. When you turn on the tape, you've seen a lot of touch spy. And you guys remember me telling you I really wanted to see him in a 3-tech in a base 4-3. Throw TJ Slayton in the 1 in the nickel 2-4 or 4-2-5, and then Kenny Clark in the 3. And when you rotate, Devontae Wyatt comes in. Don't be afraid to put Devontae Wyatt in a 1-tech. Let Kenny eat, right? For whatever reason, they really like to play Kenny, not always, but most of the time in that 1-tech or shade, which basically says you're the nose tackle. The reason that matters is you're forcing him to take on a double team. Typically, it's the center and the guard. When you put somebody in a 1-tech, which a 1-tech, guys, really, really simple, is you're lining up in between the guard and the center. So imagine with this, I can't put my cursor on the screen for you guys here with this. It's just a screen grab overlay. But notice, look at the center. Look at that one, the number 1 there in the gap on the defensive side, right? So when you're playing that 1-tech, on the opposite side, you got a 3. So you've got your 3-tech in between the guard and the tackle, right? And then you've got the 1-tech in between the center and the guard. And then you got another 5, 7, or wide 9 on the opposite side, 5, 7, or wide 9 on the other end. What you're forcing is the tackles to block 1-on-1. And you're basically forcing the guard and the center to double team block the 1-tech. So you're thinking, Clayton, why don't you like Kenny in that spot? I don't like Kenny in that spot because I want him in a 1-on-1 situation on the outside shoulder of the guard in a 3-tech so he can get to the quarterback, right? Well, lo and behold, they play him there predominantly in the 1-tech all year long, and we've seen him touch spine. That's why it's important you need to watch the tape. You go to the tape and you see, man, he's touched spine a lot. Touch spine is real simple. You engage with the blockers, but you're not trying to get to the quarterback. You're kind of a quarter, maybe spending a quarter of your energy forcing the pocket a little bit, but you got eyes on the quarterback and you're keying on the run before the pass. You're kind of just playing it safe. It's almost like what it sounds like. You touch the offensive lineman and you're spying the QB. So when you see Kenny do that week in and week out, and we kept calling it out on Chalk Talk, it made you wonder, why did we do that? And my mind went to, well, they know they're going to try to double team him anyway. Why not just handicap him right off the bat and let Devontae Wyatt go eat, which he did until he hurt his ankle. Well, we find out at the end of the year, Kenny Clark was injured. That makes sense. So you go, Kenny can't pin his ears back and rush the passer because of the foot injury, the toe injury, right? He's going to play through it, but he's not nearly as effective as he could be. Why not us go ahead and make sure we win the hat count by putting him in the 1-tech, and he can use his instincts to play the spy and help cover against the run and let Devontae Wyatt get up the quarterback. That's what happened. I say all that, and it's long-winded to get to what I wanted to point out here, which is simply it looks like Kenny's flashing right now in camp. So he's fully healthy. We know that. What if this is the year that we use him in a little bit different role? And, maybe offenses come out, they watch the tape and go, yeah, they like to do a lot of touch spy with Kenny with that 97. So let's make sure we fan our protection towards 95, Devontae Wyatt, because he's just going to kind of spy the QB. And then what if they start pinning his ears back and he gets after the quarterback and you do a little touch spying with Devontae Wyatt from time to time? You can see how I think this type of mindset, this type of approach is exactly what Jeff Hafley was talking about in his presser the other day. In that press conference, he said, we've already got our install done and we've already got adjustments ready. Meaning if teams key in on what they're doing early, maybe it's a touch spy aspect. It's multifaceted, all 3 levels, right? The defensive front, the second level there with the stack backer look, and then of course your safeties and your corners if they're playing off. That type of stuff right there, he's ready. If they attack Kenny a different way, let's adjust. That's just one example of what I think he meant by that, if that makes sense. We got a super chat here from Tron. Says, Clay, which rook this year has the biggest impact? Man, the one I keep coming back to, Tron, if you're talking defense specifically, if I had to pick one on each side of the ball, let's do that. And I'll be real brief and we'll get back to the practice breakdown. if I had to pick one on each side of the ball, on defense, Nazir Stackhouse getting a lot of love. But I'm telling you, man, with how heavy our rotation is at edge, if they get Barron Sorrell on the field, I'm kind of leaning toward Barron Sorrell. So on defense, I would say let's really watch Barron Sorrell in preseason and see. Really, it comes down to that. Barron Sorrell and Nazir Stackhouse. Those are the two I want to have my eyes on in the preseason, right? On offense, it's Matthew Golden. Now, how much will we see him in the preseason? I don't know. But on offense, it's Matthew Golden and probably Xavier, to be honest with you. I know it's a kind of an easy, low fruit answer, I guess you could say. But Xavier, if he's healthy, I wouldn't be surprised if Xavier ends up being a better player than Matthew Golden. Because the reason I say this, because when you turn on the college tape with Xavier, that ain't a knock against Golden at all. If you guys watch this show consistently, I love Matthew Golden, man. I haven't seen a rookie wide receiver come into camp and do what he did. But when you look at Xavier, they asked him to play Wildcat quarterback at TCU. They asked him to play running back. They asked him to play wing. They asked him to play X. They put him in the slot. But you didn't really see an opportunity where he was just playing receiver predominantly. And I know the Packers aren't going to do that either. But I say that because he's not been trained up properly to play wide receiver or slot, right? Now he's got an NFL coaching staff with their hands on him, teaching him how to be a receiver. And along the way, let's line his big 222-pound carcass up in the backfield and just run over some nickel corners. That would be fun, right? And now you can kind of play chess and not checkers when it comes to the whole personnel department, or the personnel aspect, I should say. What I mean by that is when you put Xavier on the field and they read 11 personnel, 3 wide receiver sets, all right, let's go nickel. And then all of a sudden, Xavier might as well be a hybrid tight end, or now he can play running back. Man, it just becomes multifaceted on how you can attack. But those would be mine that I would watch. Tron, I actually gave you 4 there, right? Barron Sorrell and Nazir Stackhouse really got my attention. Now, watch Warren Brinson end up being an absolute stud. We'll give you an update on him in a second. But those are the 2 I'm interested on defense and the 2 on offense. So Anthony Belton, too, in preseason. I want to see how he holds up against other, second teamers in the NFL. See if he kind of carries over his success from college. That would be fun, too. Chris the Casual Man with Super Chat. Thank you, buddy. Don't forget about the warm Krispy Kreme. I owe you. Oh, that's right, man. Man, I was thinking about Krispy Kreme last night. We were leaving the Speedway, and I tossed, you know what I'd like to have right now? Some Krispy Kreme donuts. Based off my morning, I'm glad we didn't do that. So we'll just keep it at that. Yeah, I want to have those sent to somebody, Chris. So we'll do that giveaway soon. Keep reminding me, man. That would be fun. What we'll do is have you DoorDash them to somebody. And if it gets expensive with the DoorDash fee, I'll help cover that charge too. So appreciate you, Chris. Thank you for the Super Chat, man. All right, we got to go rapid fire. I've talked way too much. When the guys aren't here to keep me in line, this happens. All right, so we talked about Kenny Clark. 3rd and 6 conversion. Love to Musgrave, aided by running back Chris Brooks picking up a blitzer. All right. Rookie wide receiver Savion Williams, 3rd-round pick, caught a 25-yard pass from Willis on the first snap, but missed much of camp due to injuries and didn't finish the practice. So you see he got a little bit of work there. Obviously caught a 25-yard pass from Malik Willis. Rookie defensive lineman Warren Brinson, 6th-rounder, right? Stuffed rookie running back Amar Johnson later forced an errant throw by Love with an interior rush. Just got through talking about how I was excited about Nazir Stackhouse, his former teammate Warren Brinson. Flashed a little bit in family night. This is going to be fun, man. Preseason is going to be a lot of fun watching these young defensive linemen play. I want to see Warren Brinson and Nazir Stackhouse on the field together, right? You know what you got in Wyatt. He's a starter. You know what you got in Kenny. He's a starter. Don't risk hurting those guys. They don't need the extra reps, in my opinion. Get those 2 guys out there, the Bash brothers out there, the former Georgia Bulldogs, right? Get them out there and let them rush together. It's going to be a lot of fun. This one's awesome. So Lucas Van Ness sacked Love by beating left tackle Jordan Morgan. I say it's awesome. Some people are going, that ain't good, Clayton. We don't want Jordan Morgan losing, right, if he's going to be our left tackle. But listen, when it comes to that, it is what it is. It's positive for Lucas Van Ness. Obviously, it's a negative for Jordan Morgan. We got the rep here, actually. Who posted this? Looks like Lambeau. Actually, it was originally Matt Schneidman, but I picked it up from Lambeau Leapers. All right. Lambeau Leapers, Brazil. All right. Love it. So here you go. This is the play here. Van Ness down here at the bottom of the screen, you see he's kind of in that wide 9 look. Some would call it a 7. I'm good with that. So you see there's a tight end on that side. Here's Jordan Morgan. I'm imagining the tight end is either going to sift over or he's going out in the route. Let's roll it here and just let it loop. Just a straight bull rush right back in. Yeah, that to me, that looks like a pretty bad Jordan Morgan rep there. I mean, his footwork looked horrible there, right? Chris the casual end, who's a big Rasheed Walker truther, he gonna love the pile on this one, I promise you. But again, you just see the speed off the jump there, off the snap with Lucas Van Ness, just a little bull, just way too powerful for Jordan Morgan. Not a good rep there. Coach Lynn said. Coach Lynn said Morgan is not a left tackle. I'm not ready to say that yet, Coach, but this looks a lot different from Rasheed Walker, does it not? Rasheed Walker really holds up well at the point of attack here. But you got to give LVN credit too, man. Just runs right through his face. And then, of course, you got the Jordan Morgan bad footwork there. Really, really bad footwork. It's kind of scary too. What's Jordan Love's legs there? He gets stepped on right there. Listen, tip your cap to LVN. He blows up Jordan Morgan, but notice how he doesn't – it may be real easy to get excited there and just try to run through his face and you end up stepping on Jordan Love's ankle or something. Watch Jordan's feet here. Me no likey that, Jan. Don't like that at all. Like, hey, we got to keep our quarterback upright. So that is that rep there that we mentioned when it comes to Lucas Van Ness and the sack. And Coach, I'm not ready to ride him off at left tackle yet, but I cannot disagree with that. That tape right there did not look like a left tackle, right? Did not look like a left tackle. So, all right, let's move along here. We've got bad snap. So we talked about Donovan Jennings with the bad snaps. For whatever reason, they're trying to cross-train him at center, right? He airmailed one to Sean Clifford, remove the next play. I'm hoping that AI didn't just snatch that from the practice the other day and throw it in. If you guys remember seeing that on Family Night, chime in the chat there just to confirm. But when I see Donovan Jennings playing at center, it feels like Sean Ryan's the backup center and Jacob Monk is just behind Sean Ryan as the backup to the backup center. Kind of feels like Donovan Jennings probably not going to make this roster. Now, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it does feel like they're trying to, well, let's see if there's any value there before they move on. I could be wrong, and injuries could change that quick. But nonetheless, he airmailed that snap there for sure. Coach Lynn says Belton looked like a left tackle. Let's go. I'll keep my eye on that this preseason. And maybe he's the answer in the future at left tackle. That's why you spend a second-round pick on him, right? So it's looking more and more like keep Rasheed Walker, which I think we should at least for this year. Let him play left tackle. Get Anthony Belton ready to take over for him next year as he walks into free agency if you don't decide to pay him. And then let's just play Jordan Morgan at right guard. You know, that's what it kind of feels like there. So, all right, moving along. Deep pass, Love to Matthew Golden, incomplete with transition cornerback Bo Melton in good position. Boy, I'm telling you, Bo Melton, you guys know when they first put him out at corner, I said, oh, writing's on the wall for Bo, kind of like what I just said for Donovan Jennings. I think I'm probably way off on that opinion, that early opinion that I have. It seems like Bo Melton is almost a slam dunk to make this roster because of special teams value, and he's starting to kind of show up as a corner. That's really exciting. Here we've got Kalen King, all right, Reed Willis. So we have Malik Willis, I think it was, a read pass to Julian Hicks when no one opened. That's really poorly written there, AI, but I think we've got the video here. So this is the Kalen King interception. I can't remember if I showed it already. Let's go ahead and pop it up on the screen here. So Kalen King flashed on this play. This was Wes Hodkowitz. I can't remember if I already showed it, didn't I, guys? That was when he jumped the route. Yeah, that's when he jumped the route. So, again, it was just being mentioned in the individual play. So we've covered that. Don't want to glance over it too much because, again, it was a nice play. But Kalen King, that's the type of stuff you want to see another player to look for in preseason for sure. Run stops. Rookie linebacker Jamin Johnson stopped rookie linebacker Israel. So it meant running back. There's a typo. Israel Abani Konda twice. Note, possible typo, likely running back. There it is. AI said, hey, we screwed that up. We're not going to change it for you, though, Clay Dog. So he obviously, rookie linebacker Jamin Johnson. I feel like he was a rookie last year, too, which I guess he's not into his second year yet, hasn't played a single snap yet. So AI may continue to read that as a rookie. But he stuffed Abani Konda twice there. So nice little set of plays. Then you got Carl Brooks, Kingsley Nabare stuffed Amar Johnson on back-to-back runs, so they seem to be playing the run, picking up right where they left off last year. Up next, Carrington Valentine. Carrington Valentine, 4 interceptions. I think I've got this interception, then I'll put the notes back up on the screen for you guys. I think we got it right here. Yeah, so we had Carrington Valentine with a nice interception during family night. Make sure I get the right one up on the screen for you guys. And hopefully we're describing this well enough for everybody on the pod. I apologize if we're not, but here we go. So kind of an errant throw there, right? I'm thinking, is that Love that threw that? We'll find out here in a second. Let's let it play back. Obviously got the Lambeau leap from Carrington Valentine. You love to see it. And again, him just playing the ball. It just seems like Carrington's always in the right place at the right time. Yeah, that was Love. So it looks like the receiver maybe, I don't know if it's a misread there. So that was Matthew Golden, right? That was definitely Matthew Golden. Let's go back here. Let's try to loop it. So Matthew Golden, he pulls up almost like he was expecting one of those underneath choice routes. And for whatever reason, kind of broke the route off. Love thought he was going deep. But again, good hands by Carrington Valentine. Our boy just always seems to be able to get that head around and play the ball. And that's definitely something Jeff Hafley has preached. So really, really excited to see Carrington Valentine. You guys know I was really big on him last year. Still am, to be honest with you. I think he's a guy that's got a ton of upside. Didn't expect the second-year jump that Carrington had last year, but boy, oh boy, am I glad it happened. So nice play on the ball there by Carrington Valentine. Now, back to the notes here so we can stay on topic. I can't wait to get into Omar Brown, man. That's going to be a fun little breakdown. Malik Willis 2-minute drill started at the 35 with 120, 3rd and 1 completion to Will Shepherd. We got a Will Shepherd sighting, guys, 10 yards there. Then he was sacked by rookie defensive end Barron Sorrell, who beat Anthony Belton. That's exciting. So you got a 4th-round pick in Barron Sorrell out of Texas, beating your 2nd-round pick, offensive tackle Anthony Belton out of NC State. Some people look at that and go, oh, man, Belton played like crap. To me, that's more about a 4th-round pick beating a 2nd-round pick. I'm telling you, there's something about Barron Sorrell. It just feels good, man. It feels like that dude, when you see him, first of all, next to Rashawn Gary and some of these pros, and it's just like, this dude looks like an NFL pass rusher. I'm really, really excited to see what Barron Sorrell does in the preseason. I know I've said it 1,000 times. Kicker Brandon McManus, 8 of 8 on field goals, including 50, 54, 51. He was 36 of 37 in camp overall. LaFleur said, quote, pretty consistent, avoiding the jinx. So Brandon McManus, again, there's not a whole lot to cover there other than the fact that, boy, oh boy, do we have us a kicker. And I'm so excited about it, man. I'm so excited to know that if we're down by 2 points in a pinch, if it's within 50 yards, in some cases you see here 50, 54, 51, if it's within 50 yards, you really like your chances of McManus hitting that field goal. Now, listen, I think he finished the year 93%. You guys correct me if I'm wrong there, if you know the actual percentage. Well over 90% field goal percentage last year. I don't expect that this year. I am curbing the enthusiasm. That is not normal. If he comes out and does it again, that's absolutely awesome. But I'm expecting him to be closer to the 85% range, and that's all I want, man. That's all I want. That means is if you had to go out there and kick 100 kicks, you're making 85 out of 100. That is way better than what we got used to with the kicker carousel, right? Now, if he cracks 90% again, might want to name a street after the guy. I'm just telling you. That's right. Greg Rice says Brandon McMoney. Yes, there you go. 2-0 for this says, heck, McManus could nail a quarter mile. Telling you, man. I love it. He just, again, I know he's going to miss. But when I'm watching Packer football on Sundays now, when we march the kicker out there, I got to the point before we saw McManus, I'd just go get a drink. I'll find out if he hit it here in a minute. I don't want to watch it. So with McManus, though, I find myself just rooting for him. Like, man, let's drive this thing through. Big leg on that guy, too. Wow, Bates, that is awesome. 95.2%. He was 20 for 21 last year. And he led the league, I believe, in field goal percentage. The only person higher than him had like less than 10 kicks or something like that. It might have even been less than 5 kicks. So, yeah, really, really got a lot of faith in Brandon McManus kicking field goals. So, all right, here we go. Crowd, 59,175. It was down slightly from the 60,887 last year and 65,222 in 2023. So taking a slight dip, but still, when you get 59,000 fans showing up family night, man, oh man, that's good stuff. And it says quarterback drill. Love and others did Lambeau leaps after throwing into the hoop, which we showed you that stuff. So there you go. That is your kind of play-by-play breakdown, right, of Packers family night. Now let's go to the lineup notes. This stuff to me matters as much as those plays we just highlighted for you and showed all the different highlights and all that stuff. This is kind of like a glance into Matt LaFleur. All right, is he trying to tip his hand a little bit? Like, hey, here's our starting lineup. Let's see how it lined up. Number one, offensive line with Rasheed Walker out, so keep that in mind. Jordan Morgan seems to be the backup left tackle, right? Aaron Banks at left guard, Elton Jenkins at center, Sean Ryan at right guard, and Zach Tom at right tackle. No surprise there. Now, the only thing that catches my attention is if Rasheed Walker was playing at left tackle, would Jordan Morgan start over Sean Ryan at guard? That's the only question I have. And I don't know the answer. I've said it before. Listen, Sean Ryan, if Sean Ryan beats out our second year first round pick, Jordan Morgan for right guard, I'm okay with it. I'm not going to sound the alarm. Guys, I want the best 5 out there. I don't care where they were drafted. I don't, man. I grew up watching John Randall kick our ass with the Minnesota Vikings. He was undrafted. I remember James Harrison with the Pittsburgh Steelers being one of the best, if not the best, most feared edge defenders in the game. He was undrafted, right? I'm trying to think of who else here. Sam Shields, great cornerback for the Packers, undrafted. Tramon Williams, huge role. Without Tramon Williams, I don't know if we win that Super Bowl in 2010, 2011. Undrafted, right? So I don't care where you were drafted. Get the best 5 out there at the offensive line. Get the best at every position, man. So that's the way I see that. Now, Matt Schneidman put a tweet out. Matt LaFleur on Jordan Morgan's extensive work at left tackle the last couple of days with Rasheed Walker hurt. Quote, there's going to be some hard lessons along the way, but I love how he's attacked this thing. Let me translate that. In my opinion, he's saying, boys, it ain't looking good. He's getting his butt kicked out there, but he's doing his best. So holding on for dear life, right? Let's hope that he improves pretty quickly here. All right, number one secondary with Nate Hobbs out. So again, Nate Hobbs, it seems as if Nate Hobbs is going to play outside corner. We haven't seen him in the slot much in camp. He's mostly played outside, right? So with Nate Hobbs out, it was Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Ballantyne on the outside, Javon Bullard in the slot, Xavier McKinney and Evan Williams at safeties. No surprise there. I would be more interested in seeing if when Nate Hobbs is healthy, and we'll probably see it maybe as early as this week, hopefully, when he's healthy, does that mean that he goes to the slot when the money's kind of on the table as we get a little later in the preseason? Do we put him in the slot, put Javon Bullard on the bench and let Carrington Ballantyne start, or do we keep Javon Bullard in the slot, put Nate Hobbs on the outside, and bench Carrington Ballantyne? It feels to me like the answer is our starting DBs when Nate Hobbs is healthy and everyone else is as well. It's going to be Nate Hobbs, Keyshawn Nixon on the outside, Javon Bullard in the slot, and Carrington is going to be that next man up type guy off the bench. That's what it feels like. And if for some reason Javon Bullard goes down in the slot, they'll probably throw Hobbs to the slot, put Carrington on the outside, and off we go. And that's not a knock against Carrington Ballantyne. I think it's kind of multifaceted. I think that they want Javon Bullard on the field because he's a second-round pick, and I think that he played way better in the slot than he did safety. Now he's got a full offseason, 2 full offseasons under his belt, right, to go out there and try to get even better at playing slot. Again, I'm not saying he had a great year last year, but I am saying he played significantly better in the slot, he being Javon Bullard, than he did at safety. So, all right, consistent starters on the defensive line. Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark, Devontae Wyatt, Lucas Van Ness. No surprise there. I completely agree with that. Those starters. Linebackers. Quay Walker recovering from ankle surgery. It was Edgerrin Cooper, Isaiah McDuffie, and Isaiah Simmons, probably in that order. So when you're in your nickel 4-2-5, it would be Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark, Devontae Wyatt, Lucas Van Ness, and then at stack backer, it'd be Edgerrin Cooper and Isaiah McDuffie is what it feels like, the way that's worded there. Now, there's plenty of time for Isaiah Simmons to take that up, to leapfrog Isaiah McDuffie on the depth chart. But we know they like McDuffie. They give him a 2-year extension, albeit it was peanuts. It wasn't a whole lot of money, right? But they did give him a little extension, a little bit of security there, not much. Quay Walker's the starter. Don't get me wrong. It's Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper. But it seems like Isaiah McDuffie still has the edge over Isaiah Simmons. Let's see what Isaiah Simmons does in preseason, though. Defensive line reps, UDFA defensive tackle Nazir Stackhouse taking second-team reps ahead of veteran Kobe Wooden and 6th rounder Warren Brinson. Guys, Stackhouse has flashed, right? And it seems like they're going, all right, let's see everything this guy's got. Let's see if he can be that second team nose tackle for us, right? And I personally think the first team nose tackle will be Kenny or Carl Brooks is what it feels like. Because Kenny played a lot of nose last year. Not a lot of people don't realize that. Now, with that being said, this also could be, listen, let's throw the whole book at Nazir Stackhouse and make sure that if we do decide to try to get him on the practice squad, we feel good about our decision because we got plenty of looks. The last thing you want to do is get down to roster cut down and you gave everybody too many reps and you don't have enough tape on one individual person that you think the actual decision is geared around in terms of getting them to the practice squad. So that's how I think they're looking at this. But I do think that's legit that Nazir Stackhouse he has passed up Colby Wooden on the depth chart. It feels like that's happened. And I personally would agree with that based off the tape we've seen with Colby Wooden. And again, you can't make the club in the tub. He was banged up last year too. So Warren Brinson is going to be fun to watch. Now, again, we're talking about these players we need to keep an eye on in preseason. Colby Wooden's one too. He may come out in preseason and completely change my mind, So let's definitely keep our eye on that for sure. So let's move on to the training camp schedule. Next public practices Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 10:30 a.m. The team will be off Friday. And then the preseason opener is Saturday night at Lambeau Field versus the New York Jets. Let's freaking go. God, I can't wait, man. Cannot wait. So, again, next public practices, and this could change. You guys know it changes on it. If Matt LaFleur goes, let's have a practice today, they'll run them out there, right? But it sounds like it's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday open to the public. So we'll try to get Tim out there if he's free. And, again, we appreciate anything that Tim does for this show. He's a busy, busy man, but if he finds himself out on the practice field, we'll definitely I love getting his take being there because it's different. Listen, it's different than just reading Twitter to you guys and having someone boots on the ground there at practice, seeing it firsthand. It's absolutely huge. So, all right, quote of the day. And I want to give credit to Bill Huber. I believe it's his article that grabbed this quote, and it's where I found it out, okay? Safety Xavier McKinney, quote, "It's time to go, time to focus. I'm laser focused more than I was last year. So for me, it's just continuing to grind, continuing to find ways to improve, and not just for myself, but continuing to elevate these guys around me. That's going to be the main thing. I'm trying to have the best safety room in the league." Listen how he words that. I'm trying to have the best safety room in the league. I am. Not we are, not the coaches are. He's taking ownership of that safety room. These are his guys. When we go out there, it's we fence. It's not defense. It's we fence. It's us. Let's go out there and flip the freaking tables. I love how he's approaching that, man. That right there fires me up. I'm trying to have the best safety room in the league, man. How blessed are we that Goody, again, for all the Goody haters out there, Goody handpicked Xavier McKinney, said, that's going to be our safety of the future. Knocked it out of the park. I think we've done a great job with building that, he said. I think tonight everybody got to see what we have in our room. We've got a special room. So this defense, now Edrin Cooper is a huge part of this defense. But to me, the identity of this defense so far, it's that safety room. It's Xavier McKinney. Just like Josh Jacobs has kind of become the identity on offense when the money's on the table. And what I mean by that is right now we're talking Jordan Love and Net Balls and Matthew Golden and Savion Williams and all that, right? But we know when it comes down to Sunday, we know who the guy was that was breaking tackles left and right, throwing spin moves on the Jacksonville Jaguars, stiff-arming another guy into oblivion, like absolutely running through the Honey Badger's face. That's Josh Jacobs. So for me, the identity on offense right now is Josh Jacobs in the running game with a solid passing game behind him. And on defense, it's, hey, I dare you to try our safety room because Evan Williams is coming on strong, and he's got one of the best teachers in Xavier McKinney. So really, really, and oh, by the way, they've got a former defensive coordinator in Derek Ansley back there coaching them up, man. That's exciting stuff. So there you go. There's your full practice breakdown. Now, I want to get to this Omar Brown thing. I think we've got time since I'm solo. Let's do this. So Omar Brown, I held this back a little bit. I'm going to play this clip. Here's his 2 interceptions. Hopefully this doesn't glitch out on us. Okay. Hopefully it's not too choppy. It does get choppy over here on Patreon. This is on our Patreon page. Look at the concentration to bring that in, right? Going up, trying to high point it off the helmet, watch him just stay with the ball, stay with the ball. Omar Brown, that was one of his interceptions, right? I think we got the second one right here, I believe. And this one, he's playing a little hole, right? See him kind of spin down in the middle, snatch it. Beautiful. Now, listen, that was a horrible decision. Don't get me wrong. I don't even know who threw that. Was that Love or was that Malik? That was Malik. That's a bad decision right there, laid over the middle, right? And you see there's 3 defenders there. But nonetheless, man, what you're finding here with our boy Omar Brown is he is always around the football, right? Look at this. Again, great job, great coordination, staying with the play there, picking the pass off. And on that play there particularly, if we can kind of get a look at it, he's playing deep left here. And without the all-22, it's hard to see exactly what he's playing. It kind of does look like it might be man coverage. Let's see. Let's see if we can pick up on that. No, it's zone. So what he's playing is probably a cover 2 or a cover 6. So that's basically free safety, right? Is mostly what that's like there. Now, he's on the boundary side. So in college, you would just refer to that as boundary safety, the short side of the field. So you see him playing that. And then on the second interception, like we said, when we say he's playing kind of that hole, he's playing, what's the word I'm looking for? Robber. It's hole when the backer drops, but it's robber when the safety spins down. So you see, this is more of just a zone defense. So what he's doing here, guys, is he is just playing up top. They're showing a too high shell, it looks like. Ball snapped, and he drops down into what we call a hook curl right here in the middle of the field, right? And he's just reading the quarterback. And once again, just like Malik Willis's other interception he threw, notice how he's late to this read. You never want to go late across the middle. And here's what I mean by that. Watch Malik Willis's stripe on his head. It's hard to see the stripe, but just watch his head. Malik Willis is going to look left, right? Doesn't like it. And when he comes back to the middle, he doesn't have time to see where the defenders are. He just kind of lets that thing rip. That's a bad rep on Malik Willis, more so a bad rep on Malik than a good rep on Omar Brown, but nonetheless still an interception. So there you go. There was 2 of his 3. Did he have 3 interceptions, I believe? You guys correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I think he had 3. So I thought let's do a little breakdown on Omar Brown. Okay, so Packers safety Omar Brown stood out during the team's annual family night practice at Lambeau Field where he had 3 interceptions. Yeah, so there's the 3 in front of a crowd of 59,000 people. Omar Brown's performance, the 24-year-old safety, recorded 3 interceptions during 11-on-11 periods, making him the star of the night amid struggling offenses. All right. He now leads the team. I repeat, Omar Brown now leads the team with 5 interceptions through 9 training camp practices. Okay. So he's got 5 interceptions through 9 training camp practices, and he's leading the team in interceptions. If you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I believe last year that was Evan Williams. Just saying. I think Evan Williams was that guy we were talking about. Man, he just keeps intercepting the ball in training camp, if I remember right. So let's see. Brown described his approach as treating it like a regular practice, running to the ball on every play and letting opportunities come to him. Now let's talk about what he did in college here. Okay, honors and awards for whatever reason they're not in order, but we're going to talk about it. He was an honorable mention in all Big Ten 2023 coaches media. Okay. First team FCS All-American in 2019. That was by Phil Steele. And that was when he was at Northern Iowa, I believe. Third team FCS All-American in 2019 at Northern Iowa. That was from the AP. FCS Defensive Freshman of the Year in 2019 at Northern Iowa. FCS All-America Sophomore Team in 2021 at Northern Iowa. First team All-Missouri Valley Football Conference 2019 at Northern Iowa. Honorable mention All MVFC 2020-2021 at Northern Iowa. He was MVFC All Newcomer Team in 2019 at Northern Iowa. National FCS Defensive Player of the Year in 2019. All right. MVFC Defensive Player of the Week in 2019. I think that was against Illinois State. MVFC Freshman of the Week in 2019 versus Illinois State. And then when he went to Nebraska, transferred to Nebraska, and obviously you move up the ranks there and play in better competition. He was Nebraska Scholar Athlete Honor Roll in spring of 2022. So someone who took his studies, his studies seriously. And typically, I don't know how you guys feel about that. It's not a deal breaker for me if someone has, bad academics. But when they have good academics, it does perk my ears up a little bit. Like, all right, this dude's got a little something on the ball here, right? So, all right, let's see what Soder says. He did go to Nebraska, so that's a big strike against him. All right, now keep the Cornhusker bashing down in here. Background on Omar Brown. Undrafted out of Nebraska last year, Brown signed with the Denver Broncos and played against the Packers in preseason. After being cut by Denver at the end of camp, he joined the Packers practice squad for the entire 2024 season. He has limited NFL experience with only 24 regular season snaps, 8 on defense, 16 on special teams. At the end of last year, the Packers had pre-draft interest hosting him for a top 30 visit. His PFF grade last year, again, a minute amount of snaps, right? But he graded out a 62. Let's look at the RAS. Coming out of college, Omar Brown scored a 6.57 RAS. His hand size was 9 1/4. He measured in at 6 foot 205. All right. He bench pressed 11 reps. That's a score of 265. So not a very strong guy. Vertical jump was only 35 inches. That scored a 5.85. Broad jump, 10. So it's basically a 10 flat there, or 1,000, whatever, however you want to look at it. A 5.59 score on the broad jump. So his explosion grade, his composite explosion grade was okay. His composite size grade was good. All right. His speed grade, good. He had a 4.53 40, scoring a 7.61. So again, he ran a 4.53 40-yard dash. His 20-yard split was absolute cheeks at a 2.69, scoring a 4.10. But look at his 10-yard split, 1.53, scoring a 9.27. Remember we talked about he played a little hook curl in that zone defense. When someone has a great 10-yard split but not so good 40-yard dash, I want him quick twitch playing underneath. So even though he's listed as a free safety in college, and we've seen him playing somewhat of a free safety role on that interception where he kept his eye on the ball really well, I would see him a little more like someone you want down playing the curl flat. Right now, that might hurt you against the run, obviously, but it is what it is. Comparisons to past players. I want to give credit to Jason Wilde. I was reading his article, and he pointed this out, okay? As reported by Jason Wilde, Brown's knot is likened to memorable family knot performances by other long shots who became successful NFL players. That's what I love about Wilde's reporting is he's good at pulling these old stories out, right? And I know I'm going to butcher this name here, but from 2001, Kevin Kasfaharn, maybe? Kasfaharn? Nonetheless, in 2001, he intercepted Brett Favre. Now, he was released by the Packers. He intercepted Brett Favre on Family Night in 2001. He was released by the Packers. You go, okay, why are we talking about him? Guys, he went on and had a 9-year career with the Bengals and the Saints after the XFL and substitute teaching. So this is a dude that, again, flashed at Family Night, went on and had a 9-year career. So some would look at him, well, he wasn't a starter, he wasn't great. That could be the case. But listen, when you last 9 years in the National Football League, pretty good football player. Again, that's only one example. Let me give you another example. Per Jason Wilde, Tramon Williams, 2007, intercepted Aaron Rodgers in the end zone and had a hard hit. Launched a 14-year career, including 10 with the Packers and a Super Bowl win with the Packers. Williams reflected, quote, "That was the start of Tramon Williams. I got recognized. I opened some eyes. I turned a lot of heads," end of quote. So Tramon Williams flashed in Family Night and went on to have a 14-year career, winning a Super Bowl with the Packers. You guys remember, if you haven't seen it, go to YouTube this evening. Type in, if you young whippersnappers haven't seen this, type in Tramon Williams, Atlanta Falcons pick 6. Boy, oh boy, did I hit my head on the ceiling fan. That was the momentum it created in that absolute boat race that we laid on the Atlanta Falcons in that playoff game. Tramon Williams, he sparked that whole thing. Oh, it was awesome. Awesome play. Now, fast forward 3 years ahead. Sam Shields, 2010, right? That was the year we win the Super Bowl. He intercepted Matt Flynn and returned it 98 yards for a touchdown. He became a key cornerback in the Super Bowl run there as well in 2010, 2011. So Sam Shields, Tramon Williams, and then this guy that I don't know, Kevin Kavasiarn, or however you say his name, Kavasiarn. I'm going to get butchered for this, and rightfully so. I don't know how the hell to say his name. Kevin boy in 2001. So Tramon Williams, Sam Shields, man. Yeah, awesome. Chris Casuian, that pick 6 by Tramon was insane, man. It was just so smooth. It was so smooth, man. Holmes MD1, LOL, Tramon was the truth. And he was such a good teammate. He was such a good team player. He's the epitome, right? The epitome of a Green Bay Packer. All right, Greg Rice trying to help me out, and I still don't know. Is it Cav? Would you say Cav or Cave? Cav? Cavassier? Cavassier? Okay, so it is Cavassier. I think he's making a joke there. Isn't it a drink? It's too expensive drink for this redneck. But anyway, reactions from coaches and teammates. Matt LaFleur on Omar Brown. He's making plays. LaFleur pointed out that the Packers had been on Brown for a while, starting with a pre-draft visit in spring of 2024. Brown originally signed with Denver as an undrafted free agent and came here at the end of last August. So, again, Matt LaFleur, he's making plays, keeping it simple, right? You probably want to try to sneak him on the practice squad, so he ain't going to say too much. All-pro safety Xavier McKinney chanted MVP, MVP at Brown, advised him to stay consistent and focus while trying to make the 53-man roster, and said tonight really separated him for making that statement of making that 53-man roster. So I'm proud of him, and I can't wait to continue to see him grow. You see, I'm proud of him. I can't wait to continue to see him grow. It feels like Xavier McKinney is the safety coach. You know what I mean? It's just awesome. I love how he's just taking ownership of that room for sure. McKinney described Brown as, quote, a pretty level-headed guy and wasn't surprised by his performance. Now, Kelly, God, I'm screwing up the names bad tonight, man. Hallinan? Kelly Hallinan at Kelly Hals over on X said Omar Brown describes one of his 3 interceptions as Xavier McKinney chants MVP. Brown said he has never had 3 interceptions in a game. Added it was special to do family night in front of his mom, grandma, and uncle. And that was per at NBC 26. So I think they even asked him, you never had 3 interceptions in a high school game either? He said no. So really, really cool there. Now, I just wanted to point out as we get ready to wrap up, the safety room. Keep in mind, guys, last year we broke camp with 5 safeties. Right now, the safety room is Xavier McKinney, Zane Anderson, Katano Ladapo, Evan Williams, and Omar Brown. That's what we're showing here in the safety room, right? And I thought we had more safeties than that on the roster, but we don't. I double-checked, checked a couple different sites. Matter of fact, I looked at our lads. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Is there a safety I'm missing there? But we look at the safety depth chart here for our lads. We've got McKinney, Williams, Oladapo, Zane Anderson, Omar Brown. So we've only got 5 in the room. Now, I'm probably thinking that because of Javon Buller's versatility, right? We don't play safety. But with that being said, if we carried 5 last year, good chance we carry 5 this year. I think a better chance that we carry 5 than not. Omar Brown making the roster, baby. I like it. I really like it. The fact that Xavier McKinney talking about he's level-headed, it didn't surprise him, all those things. It just seems like he would fit on this roster really, really well from a 53-man standpoint. So there you go. There's your camp breakdown. Boy, I'm tired. Hour 22. We did good, man. We stayed on time. Look at this. Look at this. Yeah. So, yeah, everybody's saying Bull. Yeah, you can look at him. I look at Bullard as a slot corner now. But, you know, again, that's probably the reason we only carried 5 safeties last year is the fact that Bullard could play safety, you know. And then, again, maybe we just carry 4 this year. Who knows? So, all right. Y'all ready to do a giveaway? Let's give away an autographed Luke Musgrave card. And listen, I need Jacob Clay. I sent you a message over on Patreon. He won the autographed Dontavion Wicks card. Rodney Jens said, hey, give it to the next guy. So it was Jacob Clay. If I don't hear from Jacob Clay, it's going to Dave Colvin, okay? So Jacob Clay, please, please, please respond to that message on Patreon so we can get your address and get that shipped out to you. If we don't hear from him in a few days, Dave Colvin, it'll go to you. Now, tonight we're giving away a Luke Musgrave autographed rookie card. And, boy, no better time either, man. Luke Musgrave is really starting to kind of crank it up, right? He's starting to kind of live up to some of the expectations, albeit training camp. But we're going to shuffle this thing. Everybody who is a YouTube member, okay? So if you hit that join tab on YouTube and you're a member, I think it's like $2 or $3 to join to be a member. This gets you entered into the giveaways. You know, you're donating to the channel. You're helping with the channel. So we just try to give back to those who are helping the channel, who are, you know, helping us here. So also Patreon. I would rather you join the Patreon group, patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access, because you get access to more content. All the stuff I just shared with you guys, everybody already had access to that a few hours ago before the show even went live. So you can kind of get caught up. All right, here's what we're going to be talking about today. Also, we got chats in there. We got fantasy football leagues you can sign up for. A lot of fun. What we're doing in the Patreon group. So they're on this list as well. Somebody in the chat, we already putting numbers out, man. We got y'all trained. Look at this. Since you already put them in there, they'll say it's rigged because I'm going to pick one. Give me the next one. Ed Madden said 9. Somebody give me a number between 1 and 10 after Ed Madden, so they won't claim it's rigged. Between 1 and 10. Let it fly, guys. You got this. Come on. 7. Murph said 7. All right, got it, buddy. So what we're going to do is shuffle this thing 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, and let's spin this sucker. Again, the winner of the autographed Luke Musgrave rookie card is a lot of names on this wheel now, man. I love it. Appreciate y'all's support. We've got Donovan Schilling. Donovan Schilling. Let me write this down so I don't forget here. Bear with me. Donovan Schilling is the winner of the autographed Luke Musgrave card. Now, if he does not come forward and he's in the clink, we can't find him, right? The card will go to Rich Beck. All right. So Rich Beck. And then if for some reason we can't get a hold of Rich Beck, the third place winner will be Randy. That should be easy to find. Good old Randy. All right. So again, Donovan Schilling, you are the winner of the autographed Musgrave card. So appreciate you guys listening. Whether you've won prizes or not, hopefully you understand and know we appreciate your all support here. And, the fact that people are in the Patreon group and paying for that extra content, the fact that people just hit that join tab and it's a couple bucks. The super chats, too. I want to give a shout out to King Tron tonight. $5 super chat, $2 super chat. Chris the Casual Win, $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Listen, that you guys doing that is what keeps this thing going. Got a lot of expensive equipment here. Matter of fact, I got a buddy that's in the music industry. He's like, man, I've been watching your podcast and you guys are professional as hell. I want to come by and look at your setup. So he's going to be dropping by here in a couple of days. Put a lot of money into this. And the fact that you guys are just contributing, man, it means the world to me that it helps kind of absorb a little bit of that cost and keep this thing going, keep the lights on, so to speak. So, I just want to say thank you guys. So we'll be back tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Central Time for PTA Live. I'm sure we'll have the guys back in here. Really, really appreciate everybody tonight. This was fun. Sorry if it was long-winded or boring. Yeah, I love having other people in here with me because I can kind of bounce things off of them, get their opinion. I think that stuff's important. But hopefully we got you guys the information that you need. Thank you, Daryl, for the kind words. Everybody in here, thank y'all so much for the kind words. You guys are awesome, man. Clint, Ed, Holmes, Tony, love it, man. Appreciate you guys. So, all right, we'll be back tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world and go Pack.
Here we go.
We out.
We're out. Bye, guys.